I found this one interesting because even though with the absolutely massive success of the Marvel films, it seems like we haven't had any video games based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Phase 1. I want to say we had one or two Iron Man games. I'm not talking about mobile games here. One or two Iron Man games based on the film, or the first two films maybe. There was a couple of Captain America ones, Thor. But once we hit Avengers, the first Avengers film, we didn't seem to get any of them. I want to say Sega published most, if not all, of those games, and they were okay. But it seems like we have an announcement for Square Enix, along with the producer of the studio that developed Tomb Raider, Crystal Dynamics, and the studio for Deus Ex, Eidos Montreal, teaming up to do a new Avengers game. It's not going to be an Avengers game that is based on the current Marvel Cinematic Universe. Seems like it's going to be, and it's actually going to be a series of games, from what it sounds like. So, of course, Crystal Dynamics, they're doing Tomb Raider. Very, very well received. The last two Tomb Raider games that have been part of the reboot for that series. And, of course, Deus Ex. I've never personally played it, but it seems like it has a pretty large following. A lot of people enjoy that series as well. So for them to be handling a licensed property like this, I don't know. It's an interesting proposition, and they're of course, both of those studios fall underneath Square Enix as a publisher, or they're both owned by Square Enix. So it'll be pretty. I think it'll be pretty interesting. What is your take on that? Given, it's not based on the movies, but it seems like it's at least based on the Avengers as a property, which means that it's not doomed from the beginning, at least.
Honestly, I haven't really been a huge fan of like superhero video games. And I've played a few. I think there was a Justice League game on the PlayStation. It's either the PlayStation 2 or Xbox 360 that I played with some friends.
Injustice?
No. It was a weird, like, looking down, and then but it wasn't like straight down, like Hotline Miami. It was like a weird, like, angle,
kind of like a three-quarters perspective.
kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it was a 3D environment, but you looked at it at like a weird angle. I guess it was kind of like a. Have you ever played Champions of Norath?
Was that also on PS2?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of. Remember that
one time? I remember playing that.
That was a great game. And also not a lot of people know that game, which makes me really sad.
Was it a Magic the Gathering game or what? No, it was like a spin-off game of something bigger. Was it EverQuest?
No, it was
I
think it was Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate?
Maybe.
Let me see. Now this is going to drive me crazy. Champions of Norath. And I'm sorry if you're watching this and you know the answer and you're just shouting at your computer screen.
Also, if you never heard of this game before, Champions of Norath was an amazing game for the PlayStation 2, and not a lot of people knew about it.
EverQuest. Champions of Norath: Realms of EverQuest is the full title.
Okay.
But yeah, plays like the Gauntlet games.
Yeah. It was like that perspective. I have played the Injustice series before, and also like the Lego superhero games.
I think I know what you might have. You might have played Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
It was Justice League. It was like
Sure it was
exclusively Justice League characters.
And you're sure it was like it played like that?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I were to like find the name and look up a score for it, it would probably get like not great reviews.
Right.
I'd say like maybe like a 4 out of 10, like what most people would say. But for me and a close friend of mine, like Justice League was like a huge part of our childhood. So we loved that game for nostalgia. But other than that, even Injustice, like I wasn't super into Injustice. I didn't care for the story.
The story was exceptionally dark.
Which normally I would like find really interesting. But I don't know. The fighting style games really aren't my type of games, and I don't know. The Lego games are like in a genre of their own.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
So other
really
than that, I really haven't played like a superhero game and like really liked it. So this is kind of like okay. Like it surprises me that there hasn't been a game since the Avengers have been a thing.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not counting the Lego Marvel games because, like you said, Lego are their own deal.
Yeah, they're all there. It's like a kid beat 'em up game.
Yeah,
and they're not challenging at all, or super.
There's challenging aspects. It's basically they all play like Kirby's Epic Yarn. You can die and keep dying and keep dying and keep dying, and it's never going to impede your progress. The only thing you do is you lose a bunch of your studs that you're carrying.
Yeah. So, also, you know, like superhero movies in general, like I'll watch them. I like some of them. I'm not a fanboy, and I'm not going to pretend to be. It's like I knew of these universes. Honestly, I'm much more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan anyway. But as far as movies go, I am like completely able to admit that like the Marvel movies are 10 times better than any of the DC movies. That being said, I still like a lot of people claim they're like amazing movies, and I'm like, I mean, they're okay. They have plot holes, just like, you know, like a lot of really popular movies. So,
but they are like they have taken superhero films to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I'm not saying they're bad at all. Like, they're great. I'm just not like super into them, and like I haven't been waiting for a new like superhero Marvel game. But if like people have been, like, that's cool.
Yeah. It honestly sounds like just I think some narration takes place during this announcement trailer. Basically, how the team needs to be reassembled. That's kind of like the hashtag that they're going with is reassemble. So it almost seems like, you know, they need to be reformed for something. So it could be. It seems like it leaves more room open for more of a comic book adaptation rather than movie adaptation. Although the art style does seem very much movie inspired, just based on what it looks like. But yeah, with these two companies, you know, Tomb Raider and Deus Ex developers, I think that's a really strong start to get this off the ground. Of course, you know, Disney owns Marvel. This would not be the first time Disney and Square Enix have worked together on something and done a really good job with it.
Yeah.
So I think this is something to look forward to. And in closing on this topic, since you are more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, and you don't have many superhero games, do yourself a favor and treat yourself to the Batman Arkham games.
You know what? I completely forgot about those.
Have you played those?
I have. They're great.
Good.
The action, the fighting, super tight. I love it.
That and the game flow. It basically plays like
it's like watching a Batman. It's like watching a Batman TV show or like reading a comic. It's
Yeah.
but like having the flow of or like the look of a video game. It's not like a comic cell shade or comic cells whenever there's dialogue. It's
Cell shaded. Yeah. It's all very realistically done. Like Arkham Knight is still one of the best looking games of this generation.
I was gonna say best looking, yes. I think the best Arkham series is still, like, in my opinion, Arkham City was great.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone holds up. But they still all play like they still play like a Metroidvania style game, just in 3D with an open world like GTA. So it's like Metroid GTA. That should be a new genre. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Maybe these, maybe, and that's the other thing too. Like they haven't really released much detail about what these games will be like, whether they'll be open world or, whatever genre they'll fit into. But hopefully, it's not just a fighting game. Because as much as I like fighting games, they just take so much time to learn.
Yeah.
You don't want another fighting game?
No, it's not that. It's... I'm really bad at fighting games. And, like, I button mash. Like my friends will invite me to, like, go with them to, like, an arcade. I'm like, okay, cool. And, like, all the games they want to play are, like, Tekken, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, any of those games like that. Even some, like, weird Japanese-style fighting games. I was like, okay... And I start, like, button mashing. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know that when you move the stick and push buttons, like,
something's
you use better
to
moves other than, like, standard punch and kick. And then, like, if I win, like, they're like, you only win because you button mash. Like, yeah, no, duh.
That's all I know how to do.
It's like, if you want to play these games with me, prepare to get beaten with button mashing. Like, I don't know the combo list. And I'm not going to study up before we go to these, like, sorry, I got kind of salty there for a second. I have been in that situation way too many times, and for these people to, like, not understand that, like, I'm not familiar with these types of games, and I don't play them as often, so, like, don't be surprised if I button mash. Like, that's just how I'm going to play the game.
It just got real here for a moment.
It did.